Hey, thank you for joining us. I'm Renee,
I'm Kevin.
and we are photographers who are educating other photographers on all different things photography, Photoshop, business tips, different lighting tricks, life hacks, all different sorts of things.
And if you like what you see, subscribe, like, comment, come back for more.
And today's episode is going to be about Photomechanic and my workflow of how I cull pictures before I edit. So let's go ahead and get started.
See you in a bit.
Today's video is all about Photomechanic. So what that is a way to cull your pictures. Even when they're raw, it will show you a preview. You won't have to wait forever for it to load. So what you do is when you open Photomechanic, then you go over here to the side and it'll ask you where you want to get your pictures from. So I'm going to Untitled because that's what it always calls my SD card. So I'm going to hit this down menu, then on DCIM I'm going to hit down again and then double click on a folder. So there's a couple different ways for you to be able to choose. You can look at them just as you're seeing them on the screen, and you can click on a picture, it'll turn it yellow. When you want to select it, you hit T, and then you can hit the arrow keys to be able to go over, and you can select as you go. So you can see how quickly we can get through this process of selection, but we can't always tell how a picture looks when it's this little. So there is another option. We can go up to a picture, we can click this hourglass, and that will bring up a bigger picture. Of course, we'll have to maximize it if it does what it does right here. And so then we can go ahead and just scroll through and we can see the pictures a lot bigger. Now, if we do want to compare two pictures because they look similar, we go up to here and this will let us see two pictures side by side. Now, if there isn't a picture already, we'll have to click where there's no picture and hit the arrow key, and that will go forward or back from where we are. So if I do this, then I'm able to see these two pictures side by side and select the appropriate one. When we click off of this and go back to full screen, it will go to the one we have selected, which is this. So if we wanted to go back to this one, we'll have to select it and then hit this box right here. So then we can just very quickly go through and we can tag which ones we actually like with a T and just keep hitting the arrow key and hit the T as we go through, and then it doesn't take very long at all. Usually with a session this size, I'm able to be done in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. If there are a lot of pictures that are similar, it may take a tiny bit longer to pick which ones we like better, but usually we can go through this rather quickly to be able to choose. Now when we're done picking, we can go ahead and exit out, and that won't get rid of it, that will just get rid of the larger display and it'll bring you right back to here. So I'm not going to go through all these right now, you get the point, but what I am going to do is show you what to do from here. So then you hit Command T and that will select all of the images that you have tagged. Now you can also go up to Edit and say Select Tagged, and it'll work just the same, but that's a little shortcut, is Command or Control T, and that will select all of them. Then you can hit go up to File and you can hit Copy Move Photos, or you can hit Command or Control Y, and that will do the exact same thing. So when we do that, it's going to ask me where I want to put these pictures. Now what I do is I will go to, the last pictures I was putting in here was pictures of a woodpecker out in my yard. So I'm going to go to Documents, and then I'm going to make a new folder, and let's just say this is Dr. Branding, and I'm going to hit Create. Then I can just go ahead and open that, and that's where it's going to put it. And then I always put an extension here. This is to create a subfolder, and I always call my subfolder raw, just because then I know exactly where things are. So if you don't want anything here, you can just delete that. You can say unedited, you can say whatever you want here, But if you have something here, it will go in a subfolder. So I'm going to hit copy, and that will just move all of the pictures that I've done right to that folder. So here you could see we didn't have to wait for previews to load. As soon as I clicked on it, the previews loaded right away. So I'm gonna show you one, not just one other thing, but another card after this. But before I do that, I wanna show you that you can erase all of your selections by hitting, make sure they're all selected, everything that is tagged, and then hit Command and the minus sign, and that will automatically untag all of the pictures. It took me probably a good 6 months to figure that out. It has saved me so much time because I usually have more than one session on a card, and when you are selecting, you only want from that one session. Now what I'm going to do is go to File, and I'm going to close the contact sheet, and I'm going to open another one. So first I have to eject my card. So I'm going to do that so that it doesn't corrupt it. And now I'm just going to put another card in the computer. So you'll be able to see when I put another card in the computer and Photomechanic is already opened, it automatically asks you what you want to do with this. Most people will hit ingest. That's not the way that I do it. So I always just hit cancel. I go back to Photomechanic. I do the same thing. Go to Untitled, DCIM. Now you can see there's several folders in here. This card has quite a few on it. So I may have to scroll through and find out which images I'm looking for. So they're not in that folder. I go ahead and click on this folder and see this one has the images that I'm looking for. Now before I start, every time I do hit Command, and here's my woodpecker picture. So I hit Command T just so I can select the ones that are tagged. It's a lot easier than scrolling through and seeing if there are ones tagged. And then I just hit Command minus, and that will get rid of all those tags. And then I hit Command D, and that will deselect everything. So there are a few other things you can do with the pictures when you're clicked on it. You can rate it, you can give it a color class. So the way to do that is just to press any of the numbers 1 through 8. So 1 would be red, 2 is yellow, 3 is green, and so on, so that you can tag them all different colors. You can also give it stars. There's 2 different ways to do that. You can either click on a star, or you can hit the control and a number button. So control 1 will be 1, control 2 is 2 stars, control 3, 4 stars, and so on. Now, if you want to get rid of the stars, you hit control 0. If you want to get rid of the color, just hit 0, and it'll take that all the way back. The reason for different tags is so that you can have different categories. So let's say 5 is what I want to be, control 5 stars is what I want in my blog. That way when I'm editing, I can see just my 5-star ones in Lightroom, and it will help me to see that they're all cohesive. Or when I'm going through, let's say some of the sessions I do, I know they really want to see the outtakes, but obviously I don't want to put that at the beginning of their gallery. So I'll do 1 star. That way I know I still want to include it in their gallery, but it'll be at the very end in their outtakes folder. Or it may be because of color, I may want, for a different part of each day, I want a certain color. So let's say I want red for getting ready, and I want green for ceremony, and I want blue for reception. I can look at those things individually in Lightroom just by clicking on the color class. Now, one thing I am going to say before I go to the next part is when you tag a picture, it makes an XMP file. That file takes up next to no room, hardly any room at all, but it does create an extra file. So don't get rid of the file. What that does is it tells Lightroom what color it is, or even that you've selected it. You could do absolutely nothing but tag it, which you can't keep any of these pictures unless you tag them. It's going to make that file. Now, if you have 0 room left on your card, it's going to error out. You won't be able to do it. And you're going to be wondering, why won't it let me tag anything? That's because there's no room to make that XMP file. So in that case, you are going to need to copy your entire card to an external hard drive, then bring that into Photomechanic and cull from there. It's an extra step. It might be annoying, but it is a workaround if your card is 100% full. Now I'm going to show you how I use Photomechanic when I'm completely done editing and putting it into separate files. So let's see how that's done. Okay, so this is how I arrange all of my pictures. When I edit, then I export every single picture and send it all to the same folder, all called edited. And that way I can have them numbered from 1 all the way to the very end. But then I take them back into Photomechanic. I know the majority of people export from Lightroom into separate folders. For me, I have found it way faster to do it this way, to just export everything and then come back and arrange. So what I do is I click on a picture and I assign it a specific color for different things. So the getting ready pictures, I assign one color. The details, I assign another color. Ceremony, another color. So here I'm going to start with details. So I'm just going to say 1, and I'm just going to click on everything that looks like a detail to me and click 1. And you can see how quickly I'm able to go through all of the ones. And I would just get this done, this part of it done in just a minute or two, and then move on to the next part. So I would go all the way through the entire wedding and do this. I would do for the reception, there's going to be certain details, but I would just go ahead and click this. And then I start back at the beginning and say, okay, what looks like getting ready to me? And getting ready, I would assign to a 2. So I would just go ahead and click on everything that looks like getting ready and assign it a 2. And then I'm gonna keep going, and the first look is gonna be a different color, so that when I'm done, I'm able to export all of these. Not export, that's in Lightroom. I'm gonna be able to copy each of these into its separate folder. So you get the idea here. When I get to, if I scroll down to first look, right, and I'm here, then I can just hit a different color and just select each of them. So I want to be able to see when I'm all done that every single picture has a color under it. I don't want to leave any pictures out. And so then I would go ahead and go up to edit and select color rating, color class, and let's say select all the red. That's going to select everything that was a detail. And then when I hit file, copy, move photos, I will want to move it into a folder. Then when I open that, because that'll already have their name on it, instead of raw, I'm gonna say details and hit copy. And then all of them are there. Go to edit and deselect all. So actually it should have been Command D. Then I'm going to go back up to edit, and I'm going to select everything that's yellow. And when I do that, then I'm going to copy, move photos, and call it getting ready. And there, all of those. And then the same thing. So Command D to deselect those, and then go up to edit and select green. And that's going to show me all the getting ready ones. So I will copy and move those to not getting ready, first look. Hit copy. Then all of them are in there. So in just a few minutes, I'm able to go through all of the pictures, put them in the proper folder so that way when it gets to my next step to upload to my gallery, I can just upload entire folders and everything will be well organized. I know this seemed like a few steps, but after you do it a couple times, it goes really fast and you don't have to think about it anymore. I hope this video has helped. Have a great day.